Episode 1 is in the books. New York Giants, Hardknocks, HBO. Shout out to everybody involved. Shout out to the New York Giants organization for, allowing themselves to be a part of Hardknocks. Actually, I don't know if they had a choice, really, because when you're not a winning team, in some cases, you don't have a choice whether or not your hat is in the ring for Hardknocks. But whatever, whenever, however it happened, it did, and I'm excited for it. So hello and welcome to Big Dash Knows. Big Dash knows what? New York Giants football. Let's go. You see the thumbnail. Recapping episode 1, and it did not disappoint at all. At all. I put out the video yesterday, the preview of things I wanted to see, throughout this whole entire series, and episode 1 did not disappoint. The whole Saquon thing, we already know where it's headed. We answered some questions already. They decided they weren't going to franchise tag Saquon Barkley. They were willing to take the risk. They did not come, the show did not air the famous phone call yet between Joe Shane and Saquon Barkley, whether or not he was going to give them a chance or not. We haven't seen that part yet. Maybe that's going to be the next episode, but boy, did we see a lot in this episode. And I had the handy dandy notebook, man. I had the handy dandy notebook, and guess what? I work hard, man, because right now I'm dealing with a headache. My head is rocking right now, but it is what it is. Shout out to everybody out there. Hit that like and subscribe button. If you're a New York Giants fan, the way that I'm a New York Giants fan, bleed blue, die hard, true blue, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Now, let me talk. The episode was heavy Saquon Barkley. That's the first part. That's some of the first notes that I have. Heavy Saquon Barkley. They bigged up Saquon Barkley. They talked about, how he contributed to the New York Giants. He was the star or the face of the franchise since he got there. Shout out to Saquon Barkley. I know what I said yesterday on the video. I don't wish him the best of luck with the Philadelphia Eagles. I just don't. I'll be lying to you guys. I wouldn't be authentic if I said I hope that Saquon Barkley kills it with the Philadelphia Eagles. That wouldn't be me. I hate Philadelphia. You guys already know that, unless you don't know that. But I hate Philadelphia. But they talked about his price. They talked about his age. They talked about injuries. They talked about how much he had left in the tank. Talk about, what do we do if Saquon Barkley is gone? One of the best clips of the whole episode was the last minute. I forget who it was. I think it was McDonald. He goes, what did he say? We say we lose Saquon Barkley. What's the identity of the team? What's the identity of the offense? So much. Saquon is such a big percentage. What do the New York Giants do from there? And Joe Shane said, well, we paid Daniel $40 million, and we didn't pay him $40 million to turn around and hand the ball off to a $12 million running back. Listen, that's cold. That's cold right there. Probably the best quote, the bar tonight. Fantastic rebuttal, and it's absolutely right. Absolutely right. Why are you paying Daniel Jones all of this money if he needs a guy like Saquon Barkley to be the guy that he needs to be? Facts. Now, one thing I also would say, because they did talk about Daniel Jones, they did talk about the injuries, but one thing that they said about Daniel Jones, that they needed a contingency plan. They are aware of his injuries. The guy McDonald said, if he's the quarterback, it was a lot of quotes, man. It was, if your ears were tuned in, there was a lot of phrases and a lot of quotes in there that made you think like, okay, the Giants paid him this money, but they're still not exactly sure if he's going to take it to the next level. Joe Shane said, he has a contract, but we need to know if this guy's going to be the quarterback for the next 10 years, or do we need to go ahead and start from scratch? So even you heard it from the guys themselves. They still have question marks with Daniel Jones. They have faith. They believe in him. They said they want to build around him. They want to give him the pieces to succeed, and they want to see if he can do it. That's all people are asking for. You got to see if he can do it. Now, the main thing is whether or not you believe he can or you can't. That's the two sides right there. Whether or not you believe he can or he can't. So let me get back into my notes. So one other thing they talked about, or was featured on the show, was Shane Bowen, the hiring process of Shane Bowen, and it was very, very short. You basically saw Brian Dable and Joe Shane walk into the office. close the door and get to whispering about what they want to do. Brian Dable starts off, I want to offer Shane the job. That's what he said. And he said, you know what, Joe Shane, look at what he did. And he started running down the stats of how good the Tennessee Titans defense performed. And I guess the cherry on top was, I need my rushing defense to do that. Is that a knock on Wink Martindale? Is that a jab? It could be. I don't know. I'm gonna take it as a jab because I think it's funny. But it seemed like Joe Shane had nothing to do with who the DC was going to be. That was all Brian Dable, and Brian Dable made that happen. Now, here's the thing: if you're Brian Dable and you went through what you went through with Wink Martindale, you better believe that he's going to make the decision of who's going to be the coach, who's going to be the DC. He's hiring one of the guys that he feels comfortable with, the guy that he did the research with, the guy that he handpicked, and that's what he did with Shane Bowen. So shout out to Brian Dable for that. We'll see how this thing works. One thing Shane Bowen did in his introductory meeting, inside the office or the meeting room, they wanted him to explain his defense, or the New York Giants defense. He said he wants the 4 best pass rushers up front. He needs the middle linebackers to be intelligent, and basically they also asked him about what his role, how did he see Isaiah Simmons, and he said clearly, Isaiah Simmons, to me, first and second down he plays nickel, third down he plays the money, and that's how a lot of people expect Isaiah Simmons to be played. That hybrid role, linebacker, cornerback, and linebacker safety type deal. I think they'll be a little bit even more creative than just the money for him on third down, but that was his initial statement, Shane Bowen, for Isaiah Simmons. Fantastic. Also, when they talked about free agency and adding to the defense, they mentioned Chris Jones. They painted the picture of what a defense with Dexter Lawrence and Chris Jones would look like. Obviously, you would have to pay him an astronomical amount of money, so it wasn't realistic. But you saw them talk about guys. They talked about Boogie Basham. They talked about Ryder Anderson. Who's going to be the guy playing next to Dexter Lawrence? Can these guys do this? What else did they talk about? That's it for Shane Bowen. Let me go back to the handy dandy notebook. Okay. Also, you got to see a little bit of what how the room is built. The scouts, the player personnel people, the people in charge of the players that are coming into the building. You saw Brandon Brown. You saw a lot of guys. There was one guy that was talking about the running back room, and you could tell that he was a fan of Saquon Barkley, because Joe Shane was trying to say that, how many teams are really going to pay him this amount of money? And the guy was like, well, how many people are Saquon Barkley? And you could see both sides, and a lot of things make sense. And like I said, for me, I got a lot from this episode. I'm thinking, we're probably episode 2, we're gonna get whether or not Saquon Barkley did agree to, giving him a chance to match the offer. Now here's the thing too with that. Saquon Barkley could have gave him a chance to match the offer, and the New York Giants said no. I can't remember exactly what Saquon signed for with the Eagles, but I swear it was something similar to what we offered him in 2022. Joe Shane also mentioned that what he went through with Saquon in 2022, the negotiation, said they aged him 10 years, and he didn't want to go through that again. He said he wants to do what's best for the team. This, that, and it was fantastic, man. In a nutshell, it was fantastic. If you haven't seen the episode, go ahead and watch that episode. This is what we've been waiting to see. Exactly how these guys that are running the New York Giants, from the ownership to the coaches to the admins to the management, we wanted to see what these guys were thinking and what went into some of the decisions that they were making, and we're actually going to see a lot of that. And the one thing I also learned from this episode, because a lot of people swear up and down that these guys are dumb. These guys are not dumb. They're fully aware of what's going on. They might tell us certain things at the podium, things that people might want to hear. They might want to pacify people at the podium. But when you got cameras in secret spots, microphones everywhere, we got to see these guys for real. And I know they probably cut things out that they didn't want to be aired, but I seen enough. I saw enough going on, and for me, I can't wait for next Tuesday. I can't wait for episode 2. I want to see more how these guys work, how their minds, process everything that's going on. They touch a little bit on the East-West Shrine game. They touch a little bit on the combine. So for me, I'm just like, give me more. Pause. I'm trying to see something else. I'm trying to see exactly, I need to see exactly what these guys are thinking, because right now I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable that these guys just aren't oblivious to what's going on. They have certain question marks about certain players on this team, like a lot of people do. They're not just brushing that stuff to the side and telling people just accept whatever's going on. We're seeing that they have question marks too, whether it's the offensive line. He said he wanted to improve that. They talked about the weapons around Daniel Jones, but again, the quote of the night was, what did we have Daniel Jones, we paid him $40 million, and we didn't pay him $40 million to turn around and hand the ball off to a $12 million running back, and that stole the show for me. So I hope you guys like the recap. Again, go ahead and watch it for yourself. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm excited. I can't wait for episode 2. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.